Let me share my screen, and then we will review what we learned the last week. Okay, so this is what we learned the last week. We learned the math. So if you use math, if you use math, and what does this mean? Math dot a point, math dot a high point. So just remember those. I'm not going to quiz you guys on this. So just want you guys to remember last week we learned the math, and today we are going to learn random, and then we are going to learn a string. Okay, so what does random mean? If you use math random, it will generate a double value between the 0 and the 1.0. 1.0 is not included. So run this code multiple times, and you will see what is printed out. So let me give you this code. I hope you guys have Eclipse launched. So, and then we can run this code multiple times, see what happens. Let's see if we got a random number or not. So let me put it here. And then let me see the import math. Okay, you use math dot random and see if you get a random number. So let me run it once. And you see I get a number 0.84. If I run it again, I get 0.14. And then run it again, I get a 0.31. So I want you guys to run it at least 5 times. And you see we just print out math random value. So you get a random value. And the random value is between 0 and 1. 1 is not included. 1 is not included. Go ahead and try it. I give you like 1 minute to try it. Okay, do you guys get in a random value? Aaron, do you get a random value when you run it?
Yeah.
That's good. So the random value is between 0 and 1. So let's move on then. So let's just learn a little bit more about it. So Java util random class can also generate a stream of pseudo random numbers and the other types of data. So it's the next double method that creates a double value between 0 and 1, just like a math random. So what does it mean? If you guys go to a website, go to Google first, okay? So I wanted to help you doing this. If you go to Google and you look at my screen and you type in Java random Java dog. Okay, just like that, Java random Java dog. Okay, and if you see something like this, random Java platform SE8, even like this one, SE11, SJDK11, it's okay. Java platform SE7, it's also okay. Click on it. So this gives you a random class. And you see random class has a lot of methods. When we talk about methods, that's too advanced to you guys at this moment, but we will learn it. But you see, click on next double. So it will just do the exactly same thing as the math random method. Right? So of course it can do a little bit more. So Java util random class can also generate a stream of pseudo random numbers. Why it is a pseudo? It's not a real random. Okay, it needs a seed, and then it has a formula. If you have the same seed, then you will get the same number. You will get the same number. It is not a true random number. It's not a true random number. It just uses a formula to generate it. So let me give you this code, and I want you guys to try it as well. Just remember to import Java util random. So let's try it. Okay. So look at my screen. I will just use this to replace this line of code. So you see, I use random and then print it out. And you see, I got a problem. If you have a problem here, you see you have a star or a cross here. And then you see you have an underline in red. That means you have a problem here. So how do I fix the problem? When I move my mouse over on this, then I just need to import. So one of the way to fix it, just do the import. You see, I imported Java util random. So now random is available to me. So I can use it. So let me save my code and run it multiple times. And you will see I also get random number. You see 0.31. If I run it again, 0.37. Run it again, 0.63. It will keep generating a double number between 0 and 1. 1 is not included. Okay, so I want you guys to try this as well. This is another way to generate a random number. Okay, so I want you guys to try it. If you have a problem, let me know. So Miss here, do not see Mervin here. So can you contact Mervin? Miss He, I do not see Mervin in the class. Okay. All right. So after you try that, and let me just check one student's work at least. Make sure you got it. Alex, do you want to share yours to me? Share your screen to me. Run it. Cool. Okay. So just remember that this can generate a random number. When you move forward and you do like do game or other things, you want to make it random, so it's fair to each every one. So you use a random number to do that, just like what we are doing here. Okay. All right. So now let's move to the next topic, and we are getting into the basic of Java now. So the next topic, and it's very important. So it's a string. String is the most important data type in pretty much all programming language. Okay, so one of the most important. So it is a special class in Java API and has many special behaviors. Okay, in order to master Java, the first step is to learn string class. It's the basic, it's the foundation for Java programming. So therefore, our main focus today is string. If you know string well, your knowledge and skills can be applied to other Java objects, and you can move faster later on. So string is not a primitive type. Okay, it's not a primitive data type. It's not like a integer, double floating. It's not like that. Okay, it's a class, and we're not talking about a class at this moment. Class will be taught in level 2. Okay, so it is an object. It's in the class. So let's move on. This URL is a Java doc about a Java string object. I want you guys to get used to it. So I copy this URL to you. I want you guys to spend 5 minutes on this website. 5 minutes, okay? Go to read it. So in the future, I will stop to copy this kind of URL. Please do it yourself if you need to learn about a Java object. So how to do that? Just like what I did. Go to Google, type in Java, then that class name, and say Java Docker. And then it will show you that. Okay. So can you guys go there and spend 5 minutes quickly skim that website? Now, of course, you are overwhelmed by this website. It has too much information, right? But just choose whatever you feel you are interested in. Just keep doing that and read it. I'm not asking you to read the whole website, and I'm asking you to memorize anything. I just want you to get used to this one, because in the future, we will come back to this kind of document more and more. For me, this is my Bible. So I need, if I do programming, I'm always need to come back to check the class like this and see what I can do with this class. So how can you decode this? And then for me, you say, I needed to remember, or I needed to know what kind of field it has. Okay, then construct it. How can I create an instance of this object? Then the methods, what can I do with this class? So you see it has all those methods there. And we will get used to that, okay? So that's what I needed to know when I get a new class and a new library. That's the way for me to learn it. All right. So once you come back, if you have not finished reading, that's fine. So let's just try to use a string. So you know in Java, when you create a variable, you have to tell the system what data type it is. So here you see we use a string x equal to hello or. So we create a variable x and that we assign the value, a string value, hello or to x. And when you do that, you use a double quotes. If I use a single quote, what I got? Does anyone remember? If I use a single quote, Eva. So what is a single quote used for in Java?
Um, I don't remember.
You don't remember? That's okay. It's for character chart. If you create a chart, then you use a single quote. Okay. String you say is double quotes. So string value is given with text in quotes. And when you do it this way, it is called string literals. Okay. So move on. The position of a character in the string is called the string's index value. String index value base is 0. That means the first character in the string has index value 0. Therefore, the max index value is the string's length minus 1. Okay. So the first one is 0. All right, so let's just try something. So let's print out the character as position 3. And then what is the length of the string? So let's just try this, okay? So let me give you this line of code and I want you guys to try it. All right, so now come back. So this is my x. You say x is hello all. Then now I want to print out this one, the position, the character at the position 3. So let me do this first, okay? Let me do this one first. Let me give you this line of code, okay? All right, you see, I use x. X is a variable, and you have x here. X is a hello all. Char at. What does it mean? I don't know. If I do not know, what can I do? I go to this website, the find out, okay? Char at methods, okay? Char at. Click on it, and then you read it. What does char at mean? So this is a method. This is a method, okay? So it will get the character at this position 3, position 3. Okay, so let's print it out, see what we got. You get an error. So what does it mean? You see, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. If you change this to 0, you see what you get. If you change it to 0, you get an H. So I want you guys to try different numbers here. And if you give it a very large number, you see what happens. You say you give it a 16. See what happens. You get a problem. So the maximum index of a string is the length of the string minus 1, because it starts from 0, right? So let's print out the length. So what is the length of this string? Let's do this. All right. So I want you guys to type in yourself, okay? I want you guys to type in yourself. So just do this system print. Put another parenthesis here. So I wanted to print out the length of a string X. And then I wanted to print out the character at the position 6, see what it is. So let me save it and then run. And then you see the length of the string is 9 here. There's a 9. And at position 6, that means the 7th character, because it's a 0 base, the 7th character, that is A. So you count from left. I hope you remember this. All right? So let me move on. So we wanted to learn a little bit more. So change a string to a lowercase. Okay? Change it to lowercase. Let me do this. Let me give you this code. Give you this code, okay? This change it to lowercase. And what does it mean? If you do not know it, come back to this website, and then you go to the table and you check it to lowercase. And you see here to upper, to lowercase, and just click on it. This will tell you what does it do. Okay, what does it do? Actually, just convert your string to a lowercase. So let me put it here, X to lowercase. Okay. So I'll print X to lowercase. Let me run it. You see it is to lowercase. So that's straightforward and easy to understand. So let me ask you, can you run to print out the X and to see if X is changed or not? So I will copy this line of code, do this again, and I just print out the X. I only print out the X, and then let me see what happened. Okay, I got this. So here you see that I use two lowercase to convert X to lowercase. But when I print out the X again, and you see X does not change. So you need to keep this in your mind, okay? Two lowercase actually is just to create a new string, and that string is the lowercase of your original string. It really does not change the original string itself. It does not change it itself. It only using the original string and converted it to a lowercase and created that lowercase. That's a new string, okay? Remember that. But then you will ask me, okay? So if I do this, x equal to, and then see what happens. So if I do that, you see here, it changed. And then you got confused. Oh, Professor Yang, why x now is lowercase? And I will tell you, this part using the original string and converted to lowercase, and it generates a new string. It's all lowercase. But now you assign that lowercase string to x, to variable x. So now x point to the lowercase string. It is not the original string anymore. It points to a different value. It points to a different value. So that is why now it is a lowercase. It is a lowercase. Okay. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Any question? Any question? Does it make sense? Right? If you do not have a question, then let's move on. And then you say, I will ask you, what does this mean? Can you guys go to that website? Go to that website and tell me, what does this method do? Index of. And then I will ask one student to answer this question. What does index of do? Go to that website first. Read this method. Okay, so let me ask Rocco, can you tell me what does index of do?
It returns the index of the character in that string.
Correct. So when we see the index value, it's the position, right? So it's a zero based. Then now you use the index of, so it will return that index value. This substring, this here, you see this substring starts at the string x. Okay, so let me just print out this one. So let me give you this code, and I want you to do it as what I'm doing. So I'll give you the code first, and then come back to my Eclipse. I just wanted to print out this one. Okay, just want to print out index of LL. So let me save my code and run it. Okay, it tells me 2. This makes sense, right? So because you see this one is 0, E is 1. So L starts at a index value 2, position 2. So it gives me that value. But you also see we have an error here. Why it does not give me that? Because if you use the index of, okay, it will find the first one that appears in the string. They will get that index value. Okay, even if you have multiple, it will give you the first appearance. But I want to go back to look at the index of, and there is another version of it. So let me go to that website. So I want you guys to take a look at it. So there are different ways to use index of, right? So if I go here, you see you have index of, and then you have index of the string, and then you see here, okay? So click on this one. See what does it do? If you use this index of this variation, what does it do? Can you guys go take a quick look at that? This one, okay. That means you give it a start index. So you search from this position on. Search from this position on. All right. So if that's the case, then I can control it. You see here, I'm searching without the starting position, and I get a 2. So if I put a 3 here, that means start. It will start searching LL from position 3. So now see what I got. So you got a 7. Now it really searches and finds that one. That's position 7 because your search starts from position 3. That means this one, the fourth character. Search from that moment on. Okay. If I change to 2, you will still get a 2 because it starts from here. The first appearance is that one. So if I change it to 2, you still get a 2. Right? But if you change the starting position from 3, then you get a 7 because it will search the next one. All right. So when you do this, and this is very important. Why? Because when you read the website, right, you have many names on it, and the government sometimes, if they search for the terrorist, they will only put the terrorist name in, and then use the index of. And if it finds a match, then you will get the index value. Okay, so let me just show you another example. If I'm trying to search for LD, and you see what I got. I got a -1. So that means if you do not get a match, the -1 value will be returned if you use index of. So this actually is a searching function. So if you find one, and then you will get a positive value or 0. So that means you can quickly go into that position and pull it out. So if I have many websites, so I'm searching for a specific person, search for a specific person. If I get a match, oh, I know that website has it. So I will go to that website, right? I will go to that website. So if it doesn't have anything match, then I get -1 value. So this is a searching functionality. All right. So hopefully this makes sense to you. So let's move on then. Speaking of index, so one more example. Okay. So I would ask you guys to read the website. So I'm not going to ask you guys to do it again. So that's what I meant. So how to compare two streams? I have T, hello, and I have S, world. And then I compare if T equal to S. This is one way, but we do not encourage that way. So let me first give you this code, and I want you guys to compare it. You see, I got a false because T equal to hello, S equal to world. They are not the same. They are not the same. So that's why you get a false, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay. So let's move on. And I say this is not the way that we encourage from comparison. And then I have several slides to talk about that. So let's move on to the next slide. I want you guys now to read all those methods. All those methods, okay? In that website, go back, read it, and tell me the difference between them. Okay, one more minute, and then I will come to ask you guys a question. All right. So, Aaron, do you see any difference between the equals and the compared to? If you see the difference, can you tell me what are the difference? Equals and compared to. Aaron. Aaron. Can you turn on your camera so I can see that you are still there? Who knows it? So Claire, do you see the difference between these two?
Compared to is like comparing the Unicode value, I think.
Okay, so when you compare to what return you got a Boolean value return, or you get, so what?
It's a number.
What?
It's a number.
It's a number, okay? Equals. What do you get?
True or false.
Okay, so that's a big difference there, right? So equals, so you get a true or false. Compared to if it's equal, then you get a 0. If it's large, then you get a positive value. If it's a smaller, then you get a negative value, okay? All right, just remember that. So why do I talk about that? And I have a very important concept to teach you guys. So I'm not asking you guys to challenge yourself here, because when you talk about a match, therefore it a match and then the pattern, okay, so it's kind of hard for you guys. So I will skip this one, but let me talk about this. So difference between the equal and the equals method. So in general, both equals and equal operator are used to compare objects and to check equality. But here are some of the differences between these two. What are the differences? Right? The main difference between the equals method and the equal operator is that one is method and the other is operator. That's obvious, okay? We can use the operator for reference comparison. That means it's an address comparison. The equals method for content comparison. In simple words, the operator checks if both objects point to the same memory location. Right? Are they pointed to the same memory location? The equals method evaluates to the comparison of values in the objects. Check if the value are the same or not. So this is very abstract to us. So what exactly does it mean? So let's just move on. So if a class does not override the equals method, then by default, it uses equals object, okay? Method of the closest parent class that has overridden this method. And we will talk about that when we learn in the future, how to override the parent's equal method, okay? What does equal mean, right? You create a method, then you control how the equals behave. So let me move on to the next slide. So I give you this, and I want you guys to run it first, and then hopefully it makes sense. You can make sense out of it, and then we will come back to talk about it to make it more clear on it. Okay, so let me run it as well. So these are the Java code. So I have a string S1, string S2. You see both has value Java. If I use this operator to compare, and then I use the equals to compare, I get a different answer. The why it is like that? Why it is like that? Because we already talked about the operator is in memory comparison. When you create a new object, you specify a slot of memory to store it. And then you create another object, you specify another slot of memory to store it. They are actually in two different memory slots. So that's why they are not of the same object. They are not of the same object. So that is why when you do this operator, you get the false. You get the false result because they are not of the same object. Okay, but if you use equals, the method, because they only compare the value here, both are Java. So that is why you got a true answer here. Does this make sense to you? Mervin, does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Erwin, I want you to turn on your camera. I'm not sure if you are there or not. Because I ask you a question, you just do not give me any answer. Okay, if I ask you next question, you still do not give me an answer, then I will ask Miss here to check if you are still learning or not, okay? All right, so let's move on. So I have a little bit more to you. I want you guys to try this one now, okay? You just add this code, to your application. So let me give you that, and you see where I put it. All right. So I come back to my code and I put it after it. All right. Let me take this code out. So you see I have S1, S3, and S4. And the S1 is an instance of the class string. S3 and S4 are string literal. And I want you guys to print it out to see what happens. And you see when I compare S3 and S4, and they are true. And when I compare S1 and S3, they are false. Okay, I can easily understand this because you told me we have memory check, and they are not the same. Of course, then they are not the same. Okay, but why S3 and S4 they are equal? Why? This is hard to understand. So we need to dive into how Java handles a string. Okay, it may be too difficult for you guys, but let's just keep reading. Okay, help. Okay, Aaron, can you read this slide for me? Aaron. Miss Key, can you check if Aaron's still in the class? Can you call his mom? I asked him and never get any response, so I'm not sure what he is doing. All right, so let me get a help from Eva. Eva, can you help me read this one?
Okay, so the difference between string object and string literal. String literal refers to an intern string object. This means that the character sequence Java, for an example, will be stored at a central place, and whenever the same literal Java is used again, the JVM will not create a new string object, but will use the reference of the cact string.
Yep. Okay. So what does that mean? So I will show you a diagram so that explains it. So when you use new to create a new instance of a string object, Java Virtual Machine, JVM, is forced to create a new string reference, no matter if that string existed in the central pool or not. So that is these two. If you use a new object, a new string to create it, so that's what you look at here, okay? S1, S2. That's the 2 instances. So even it's Java, here, they are pointed to 2 different things. However, if you use the Java string literal, so Java will put all those characters in the central location here. So if you use Java, okay, if the system will come to scan the central location, if it find something like this Java existed there, it will pull that out and assign it to this variable. So it will pull it out again to assign to this variable. So that means S3 and S4, they point to the same central Java literal characters.
啊，好，你说一下，让 Aaron 发一下言。
Can't hear anything.
Okay, so that is why, you know, when you use Java literal to create a Java, so an object like this, okay, they actually pull out from the same central location. If the system knows it, if this already exists in that central location, it will just use it and give it to S3, S4. If it does not exist, it will create it and put it into that central place. Okay, so that's how they work. So that is why when you compare this Java literal, okay, they actually refer to the same location. So that's why they are equal. So if you use a new to create it, like this one, new, so even though it exists in the central location, it is forced to create a new one, a new instance. So like this, okay, like this too. Hopefully this makes sense to you. All right, I think I just have like 2 more slides to quiz you. All right, so let me. So you see I have a string X and a string Y. Okay, then I say X equal to Y. Is this, what do you get? You get it true or you get it false? Can you put your answer in the chat window? Everyone, put your answer in the chat window. You get it true or false, the output. I get 2 answers. Okay, every one of you get it right. That's good. Let's move on to the next quiz then. So I have X equal to hello, Y equal to lowercase, and then Z equal to hello. True or false? Okay, some of you are not sure, okay? So let's just try. If you are not sure, let me just try it and run to you, and then I will explain to you why it is that. Most of you already give me the right answer. Okay, let me just save it. Okay, you see what you get. So it is false. The reason is that when you do that, okay, this is a literal. It pulled out from the central location. Here, you create a new string. You create a new string from this object.
Mr. Yang?
Yes.
I had a class at 6:50. Can I go?
Yeah, you
but-
can go. Yes, go
okay.
ahead. Okay. So that's why. Okay. That is why. So do not be tricked on this one. Right? It's false. All right. So let's move on to the next quiz. Let me. So string. Oh, this is homework already. Okay. So I think that's the last one. So we already finished. We already finished the 3 quizzes. Okay. That's good then. All right. So this is homework. So I have X equal to this string. Write code to find the last index value of A at the position 13 and the length of X. Then use math to get the value of the power of the index value. You just get over the value of the length. Okay. So I want you to find the last index value of A. And there should be something here, last index. You see here, last index, you can use that. All right. So I will give you this homework. And if you have a question, you can stay. If you do not have a question, then I think we are good. And you are dismissed. Miss He, do you have anything? Okay. If not, then you can feel free to leave.
Thank you.
All right.